Next question. Here we are. So, hold on, I've got a microphone for you.
Hello, welcome Mr. Cameron to Lear Corporation. Right, I have a question with regards to the big society, which I believe is your mission, and you personally wanted it in your manifest. I quote in your words, when you talk about the big society, there are things you do because it's your passion. Well, I support a voluntary organisation called the Sparkbrook Neighbourhood Forum in Birmingham. Right, and this voluntary work, I and the rest of the community do is our passion. Okay. In deprived communities like Sparkbrook in Birmingham, where real voluntary community-led organisations like the Sparkbrook Neighbourhood Forum are trying to make positive difference in changing the narrative of the area. My question is, how will the government support such ideas with the growing cuts and lack of vision? Surely, with the current situation, it is simply just demoralising people that want to make positive change within their community.
Well, first of all, let me say how much I appreciate neighbourhood groups like yours and what they do. And the idea of the big society is a very simple idea, which is that we shouldn't just think that life is about the individual on the one hand and the government on the other. There are all those organisations between the individual and the government that make life worth living. The charities, the voluntary bodies, the churches, organisations that actually put back into the community. And all the big society is saying, let's have more of that. Let's encourage that. Let's encourage volunteering. Let's encourage social action. Let's encourage community and voluntary groups. And this links in a way to what you say about cuts. Frankly, anyone who is Prime Minister right now would have to be making cuts. We have a budget deficit in Britain. You know, the difference between what we get in taxes and what we spend, our budget deficit is one of the biggest in the entire world. When we came to office, it was 11%. We've cut it by a quarter, down to 8%, but 8% is still massive. Switch on your television set and look what's happening in Greece and Spain and other countries like that, and we know we're living beyond our means. We're going to pay that deficit down. So there always, whoever was here right now, there'd be cuts. But can we do more to help voluntary bodies and community organisations like yours do great things in their communities? Yes, I think we can. And it isn't all about money. Let's make it easier for people to volunteer. Let's make it easier for groups like yours to take over the running of community institutions. We passed a law called the Community Right to Buy, so that if a group like yours sees that there's a disused public building, that you can buy that building and run that building for community benefit. So let's devolve power. Let's get Birmingham City Council as well. They can play a role in this. Instead of just spending money on their own organisations, why don't they use organisations like yours to do good work in the community? I've seen this with the Balsall Heath Forum, right next to you, with Dick Atkinson, where there are volunteers now. And Balsall Heath was one of the most run-down parts of Birmingham. It had huge problems of crime, drugs, prostitution. And the people of Balsall Heath, they came together, they formed a community group, they patrolled the streets to get rid of the pimps and the prostitutes. They took over the running of the parks, which were a complete mess, and they're now full of attractive flower beds. It's a great example of what community action can do. It was one of the inspirations for the big society. Now, I know it's tough when there are government cuts going on, but I think it makes it even more important that we try and build up organisations like yours to make a difference, sir. Sure. I would be delighted to come, and afterwards we can go to the Balti Mile and I will buy you a curry. Is that a deal? Right, next question. Sir.